It is recording now. So Dr. Rinker, do you want to take it over and have the students discuss their experiences at AMUN?
Sure, that would be great. Thanks a lot, Pi Sigma Alpha, for letting the Model UN delegation from PNW have a little time to speak tonight. So I was really proud of the students that participated on behalf of Purdue this fall at the 2020 AMUN. Nothing 2020 has been quite what we could have imagined. And this team did an awesome job. They're gonna, I just asked them kind of individually to reflect, you know, something, a story, a vignette, just something they would take from the Model UN experience. Because sometimes in past years, we've had like a, you know, PowerPoint type of presentation and kind of everyone going through something really formalistic in terms of what they got out of the experience. I thought here it was just more appropriate to do it more in an informal way and just let students kind of share whatever really honestly struck them about, you know, something interesting or useful out of the Model UN experience, because each year we always try to recruit for the following year. And next year we do get to be at the Russian Federation, which is so exciting. But, you know, each year we want to just take that little bit of time to kind of celebrate the people who did represent our university at this big conference, and then kind of give them the chance to share and reflect. So we don't have a predetermined order of speakers. We don't have a speakers list tonight. It's really based on who would like to jump in and speak first. And then maybe we can just kind of, whoever is the first speaker, kind of solicit the subsequent speaker and so forth. So anyone from class who wants to jump in and grab the reins?
I'd say Viviana goes first.
Do it. Go for it.
Hi. So I was the TA/perm rep for Israel in our awesome delegation. Perm rep usually just walks around, technically we walked around in the simulation on Gatherly, the website we used. So we just went from committee to committee, seeing how everyone was. I kind of pushed people to talk. I gave them some tips. I really liked it. We had our delegations were all great. Our representatives were really great, and I really liked working with them. So we had some technical difficulties, but hopefully next year we will do better with that. I will call on Nem.
Hello. So should I just talk about any part of it that I would want?
Yeah, you're kind of free. You're kind of empowered, Nem, because this is, you've got experience with the Model UN, so just whatever kind of takes your fancy, go for it.
Yeah, it is really fun, particularly during caucusing, after the formal speeches and so on are done. Some of you, I believe most of you actually, would enjoy the more unscripted parts of it. So like it starts off, of course, with the, you know, formal speeches, everything, people presenting their ideas and so on. That can last half an hour or so. Then when they let you go, everyone just sort of groups up together however they want, you know, form their own subcommittees. And it's really helpful to find people that are like-minded like you, or that you work together more than, you know, someone else. And another benefit is also there's like 2 topics for the committees. So if you feel uncomfortable with the group that you get selected for the first topic, you don't have to worry. That's not the full experience. You always have another shot. So like me, for example, I had not the best people to work with for the first topic. And then the second one, went with a different group, found the perfect people I could. And from that point on, it was just steady experience. So you do have a lot of avenues to go down in the whole experience. Yeah.
Hey, Nem, before, it feels like you're right. Do I anticipate right that felt like you're winding up, like you're finishing up?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
no?
I'm finishing up. Yeah.
Okay, but wait, can we just get into the tea a little bit more? Like maybe without names, can you tell us like what is an example of people who aren't good to work with or who are good to work with? Just
Oh, yeah, sure.
a little bit more what that's like.
Yeah. To put it simply, there are some people who, of course, like did more research, and you'll be able to tell that right off the bat during caucusing, because you'll have some that are coming up with ideas, immediately. That doesn't mean that those are the only useful people, because there are some that are not too interested in presenting the ideas, but rather in persuading others of those ideas. So you have the more diplomatic sort of branch. And these are people who actively go out in different groups and beseech others to join them in approving their resolution and, helping them further their desired, provisions and so on. You'll notice rather quickly, I believe, that those who just sort of linger in the groups, that don't really go out into other groups to talk or aren't actually outright speaking and presenting anything, those aren't usually the most proactive, individuals. And I would say stick more with the both verbally active and those that are constantly going to other groups. How should I say this? Yeah, I mean, just you yourself should be very active in talking with others so that you know what they know, right? You want to know that right off the bat. Of course, you're going to know, your research, but you don't know what they have ready. And they need something to present to the group as well. It can't just be you. You can't be the only one pulling the weight. So just immediately, as soon as you have the chance, ask them questions, probe them for information, see how much they've gathered, to know whether or not it's a subcommittee you want to stay in. And if it's not, then go into another group and probe those people and see what they have. Find out what they know.
And sweet, real fast, Nem, what were your two issues on your first committee of the General Assembly?
Yeah, so I myself, I was just sort of interested in like the writing aspect at the beginning. I didn't care too much to actively engage them, which was my mistake. And I found out rather quickly that if you're not actively engaging these people, if you're not finding out, what they have in common with you or what they know, then you might end up digging yourself in already a deep hole, 20, 30 minutes in, you're writing this resolution. And then when you've already got your ideas set on there, and then it's time for you to put some more, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, what does my team want? Because I never found out what my team wants. And then you go and, question them, and then you find out that they're all conflicting views. So yeah, it was very different in the second topic, with that different committee, when I was actively finding out, like, what are we going to do? Create a plan, create an outline, find out, to put it simply, what everyone agrees with, what everyone knows. So yeah, that was the biggest problem. Lazy people who I didn't do enough to reach out to at the beginning.
And what were the topics again?
The first topic we did was space militarization, of course, and the second topic was the international trade of small arms and light weapons. And of course, I mean, every country is different. So if you're on a topic that doesn't really relate that much to your country, for example, we were Israel, and space militarization, that's not going to go too much with Israel. Like, we got a space program and we got a satellite, but that's it. It's not the US. But you don't have to worry, because there's always another option. And for me, that was small arms and light weapons, which is, of course, highly relevant to any Middle Eastern country. And that was my redeeming point. Yeah.
Sweet. Thanks for sharing those observations, Nem. And you can pass the baton. See who's going to grab the baton from you.
Terrell.
Yeah. Hi guys. So this was my first year at AMUN. I was in the Council of Food and Agriculture organization. Honestly, it was a quite interesting experience. So our first topic, the first topic we did, there was kind of a consensus of like what was wanted in like the resolutions. So there wasn't any like conflicting ideas, I guess. So things got passed very easily. Mostly what took up time was waiting for like for it to be, I guess, official and to vote on it. The problems came in for our second topic, which was on the sustainable use of plant genetic resources. And that's where like we broke up into much smaller groups. And there was so many conflicting ideas of like what people wanted. So the resolution I worked on actually didn't get passed because I guess it was too, it strayed too far, I guess, away from what other countries wanted. And I guess the problem we encountered was that while we tried to compromise, the compromise wasn't enough. So I guess people were unwilling to make something that was, you know, good enough to be passed. So one thing I got out of it was that while compromise is good, going too far to make people, I guess, happy with what you have worked with probably was still not going to, is not going to work because they'll still vote against it when it's time to vote on a resolution. But it honestly was a great experience. I would love to see how it would be in person because I mean, we're all home in front of a computer. It probably would be a lot easier, I guess, to work with when you're like face to face, I guess. And then, you know, the whole, you know, technical difficulties and whatnot and Wi-Fi problems. I think probably it would be a lot more fun in person, but it was still a great experience to have. Yeah.
Good job.
Awesome. So you can't please all the people all the time, Sherelle, huh?
You can't.
But yet one topic was easier than another, kind of like what you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I pass it on to Martha.
Hey everyone. Off by saying that I think that despite all the technical difficulties that we had, which we had a lot, I think for me, I would have liked to see how the experience would have been in person. I think we all probably would have taken a lot more from it in person rather than sitting in front of a computer for like 3 days. I know like by the end of the day, I was already really tired of like sitting all day. But what I really liked and what I especially learned was learning with other people, especially the informal sessions, which where I liked it the most. In the formal sections, you can see how people would bring their ideas together and speak out in them. But in the informal sessions, you could really see how people would try to come together and talk and see, you know, kind of where you're at. But I think that learning from a perspective of, I guess that where the you could use this in a situation, learning how to like speak with others and agreeing or disagreeing, and making sure you're really informed and aware of your topics or whatever the case may be, because other people might not always agree with you. So wherever your stance is, I think it's important to know what you're representing and what you're trying to push for, and things like that. I think two of the resolutions that I worked in were passed. And then the two taught I had was the right to privacy in the digital age and the protection of migrants.
Hey, Martha. So maybe you were just more successful than others. You only put effort towards successful winning resolutions.
Yeah, I guess so.
But that's interesting that there's kind of that difference between communication informal session, which is really like synthesizing your arguments in a persuasive way. And then like the skill set that it takes in informal caucus, which is more like quickly finding that common ground that Nim was talking about, like quickly getting people's like temperatures on everything, and then like finding what they have in common. That's like two different skill sets.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
I'll mute
Two
myself.
completely different ways of convincing and representing. So I pass it to Andrea.
Okay. So for my committee, I was on the WHO, and our like topics were like promoting the health of migrants and vaccinations. And for my committee, I feel like because we were so small, we worked together like way better than I think, because we were like, there's a lot of teamwork going on, a lot of tag teaming on resolutions. And so I feel that was pretty good compared to my last year when I did this last year. I feel like it was a lot less arguing going on, a lot less, but there was some compromise going on to different issues that we had. But the resolution that I worked on passed, so that was good. But later on, I had some connection issues. I wasn't able to like participate as much as I wanted to. So that's pretty much all that happened with me.
That's right. So you had some of those topics that are just kind of on the forefront right now with the pandemic, right? Between immunization and migration. Those were huge. Do you want to say a word? I know it really sucked that there was kind of, that's the technical type of issues that were happening. Do you mind saying a little bit about what those are, just so people kind of know, I guess, what you faced?
I wasn't sure because at first it was working fine on my computer, then my computer just died. I'm not sure if Gatherly killed my computer or what, but it just like stopped working. So I had to borrow somebody else's, and it wasn't on the same level as my computer. So like when it would load, it would kick me out, and then when it I would be in there, I couldn't hear anything or I couldn't see anything. It was like a lot of different issues like that. It just like super delayed. I'm just sure it was the computer that I had borrowed. So
Yeah, definitely. Because if you have the premium computer, premium Wi-Fi, all that stuff, then like Zoom, right? You'd have video, you'd have audio, and you'd have that ability to kind of visually see who else is in the room and jump into little subgroups and see who's talking and see if that's a coalition you want to work with, and then jump out of that group and try another one, right? But if the Wi-Fi isn't there, you're just like, wait, what's happening? I want to jump into your group. So yeah, so thanks for your patience on that, DeAndrea. And you can feel free to tag someone else to present next.
all right, who's left? Isn't it just Tay? So yep. Tay.
I mean, it was a lovely experience. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I was able to do my part. I did food security and sustainable tourism. I mean, all in all, it was a good experience. I guess my takeaway or my recruitment pitch is just it makes you know yourself more. What do you like to do? What do you not like to do? How do you respond in like uncomfortable situations? If you're a person that avoids conflict, you might be a person who got a hell of a lot to say when it comes to being in them conference rooms. I mean, like, if you're afraid of like public speaking, it helps you learn that. Like, helps you interact with people. All things that really pretty much applies to like job markets. Like, it makes you know yourself better. All in all, I mean, besides the school stuff, I mean, it was a cool experience. You talk to people, you learn stuff. I mean, yada yada yada. You do that with every class, but I guess to say like this one, you just know you. Like, I know that like I pick and choose when I have a lot of things to say, but when I do, I mean, I can make something happen. I was doing a lot of backdoor dealing, passing a lot of resolutions, doing a lot of favors. You know what I'm saying? So you just get to know how you respond in certain environments. So my pitch is definitely take the class, you know what I'm saying, whenever you have time to do it and just, you know what I'm saying, see what happens. Then you can know a little bit more about yourself. And that's it.
Thanks a bunch, Tay. That's good, right? It's kind of like know thyself, right? It's good to keep like pushing yourself in different environments. A couple months back, Professor Oyang and I got a message from a former student, right? Do you remember this, Oyang? And they were saying, you guys are constantly throwing us into the deep end and seeing how we react, right? But these students were saying, hey, it's helped us in our future career that you just keep putting us in different environments. And because in those new environments, we can grow, right? If we're in the same environment all the time, then how are you supposed to know that how are you developing and how are you growing? So thanks to the whole group, I guess, for sharing and for listening. Russian Federation, we're going to need a good 25 students. We need a quarter of a century to staff the Russian Federation next fall. So it's nothing trivial. So we need all your help. Appreciate if you can spread the word. If you can be in the class next year, it's a grad class as well through history. So if you're doing a grad program and you're looking for a grad credit, there's a way you can get that through History Cross List. So tell your friends, tell your family to sign up to be Russian next year. Thanks so much, Pi Sigma Alpha.
Thank you so much for everyone talking about your experiences. I went to AMUN in person. It was pretty fun. Sorry you guys had to do it online. But it still did sound fun. And, you know, I mean, honestly, thinking back to my experience, even though it was in person, I feel like, I mean, you don't get that same energy and I guess, you know, face-to-face interaction, but I feel like you're going to learn a lot. I mean, Tay learned about, you know, where he stands in the game of politics, international politics, backdoor dealing. I love that. Finding your strengths, knowing what you're good at. So, I mean, I can't speak to your experiences, obviously, but I think that you guys got a lot out of the experience, even though it wasn't in person, so that's awesome. And thanks so much for sharing. PSA loves it. We're Pi Sigma Alpha, political science. You guys are AMUN. Work so well together. Love it. So thank you guys for sharing. And thank you for coming, too.